Hi Ducati owners, I have my 848 with a voltage regulator problem. If you had a voltage regulator problem, then this video will be for you. How can you tell that this is a voltage regulator problem? I don't want to explain it because there are many videos on the internet and you can check them out. I don't want to explain it right now, but what I want to explain it, which one would you buy or which one I have to buy? You have to buy one of them above 90 euro. So you can buy an original one, you can buy maybe an aftermarket one, but there are also many fake ones out there. We're focusing right now on the Mosfet one because the Mosfet regulator will be last as long as the bike life. That's why. There are also many fakes out there, maybe for 20 or $30 or something. I bought two of them. I tested it and also two others. So I have a video on my channel. If you want, you can check them out. So, like I said, I bought the Mosfet one from roadstercycle.com. This is a Canadian company. I live in Italy, but they can ship worldwide. Also with the cables in it. That's most importantly. The cables are also there. It's around with shipping $180, $170. The MOSFET regulator work in another way, not like an old original regulator. So right now I took off the side fairing and the battery, and I can show you what do you need for this work exactly. So the first thing what you need is a MOSFET regulator rectifier. Like I said, from roadstercycle.com you can order it with the Triumph cable set. I prefer this page, but this is not a sponsored video or something like this. But on eBay, on Amazon, there are so many fake ones. That's why I prefer the original page. You can order it, they ship worldwide. So what you can see right now is a bracket. With this thing you can relocate your regulator rectifier, your MOSFET one also. If you order this one, this is I don't know, maybe from the UK, where you can order. This is for an original regulator rectifier, not for the MOSFET one. So you have to drill another hole in it. The cables, what I marked also on the photo, they are not long enough. That's why we have to make longer ones, which will be the next photo. You can see on this photo also the regulator, the Triumph cable set, and this set comes with some bushing, with some specified screws, and this kit actually move your regulator next to the horizontal cylinder. Oh, and by the way, if you are familiar with laser cutting, then you can do it yourself, like me, or you can find another way where you can relocate your regulator rectifier. So I saw already a picture, somebody did a setup for the X-up valve motor for the exhaust, and yeah, if you can find another way, it's just up to you. So this is the cable what you need. The color is up to you. I chose the red one. You will need 3 meter length, and you have to go with the 3 millimeter thickness. This cable can handle, the 3 millimeter thickness can handle 33 amps. I would recommend this because on the ECU and regulator side you have a 30 amp fuse on your Ducati. That's why I would go with this one, and it can handle it. But make sure that this is a 3 millimeter thickness. If you don't want to order from this page on eBay or Amazon or something like that, make sure that it's only 3 millimeter, because if you go to the home electrical store and you want a cable which can handle 40 amps, then you will get a much wider cable, like 5 or 6 millimeter thickness. That's why it's a good idea to go to the car electrical shop or store in your town. Some WD-40 for your good connections, a soldering iron with some zinc for your new wire pins and connectors, an electrical wire plier, an electrical tape which will be also good for marking the cables, 3 sets of these 3-pin wire connectors and pins for the cables. I don't know if this which unit is this, 6.3 millimeter or something like that, I don't know, but you will need from them 3 sets, and you will need also from the 4 pins also 3 sets. And the multimeter. With the multimeter you can check your Mosfet regulator if it's an original one, if everything okay is with the numbers, and you can also check after the work your motorcycle if everything is okay, the loading is okay, the voltage at the battery. By the way, toolbox, what you use on a daily basis, and hopefully you have them on your garage. The next step is to remove the ECU harness. You can do it with a flathead screwdriver. This is not the best footage what I did, but I hope you can figure it out. It's actually a sliding thing, and you have 2 harnesses. One is a blue color and another one is a red color. You can see right now on the footage. After that, you have to screw out the regulator. One screw on this side and another screw on the other side. It's actually 2 screws. Yes, and there you go. You got it out. You can see right now the 2 harnesses, from one from the alternator and another what goes into the bike. You have to remove those 2 harnesses and you can actually throw it away, your regulator. And as you can see on my photo, this harness what comes from the alternator, one of the 3 pins is actually one is burned. This is really common on old bikes. The next step is to mark your cables, because after you cut the wiring connector, you can easily lose them, which one was where. And after you get the new wire connector, you have to put them back in the right way. And that's why it's very important to mark them. I didn't use an alcoholic marker because the mark just can easily removed. And that's why I used an electrical tape. As you can see, it's a little bit hard to see. What I did, I cut one piece of electrical tape and put on one cable, and with the scissors I cut only one. For the second cable, also an electrical tape, but I cut twice, and like this row, like this way, you can mark the third and the fourth cable. The second important thing that you have to mark also the old wire connector, because in this way you can compare with the new one and you can put them back in the right way, because you have to figure out which one is, in your opinion, the first cable, the second, the third and the fourth. I hope you can understand what I mean. And you have to make also this procedure for the alternator side, which where is only 3 cables, but the procedure is as the same. After you cut off the wire connectors, you have to remove a small piece of rubber from the cable's end. It's around 7-8 millimeters. I should use an electrical plier, but I didn't have it this time in the video, so I just used a normal cutter. You can also clean them, the cable's end, with some alcohol if you want. In this way, you can prepare your cables from the pins and for the soldering part. I am not a professional, so that's why I just install the pin with a plier. And after that, I did the soldering part. I did a very bad footage on at this time in the video, but I hope you can understand what I mean. And you have to soldering all the 7 cables, and after that we can move in my garage, because actually the next footage will be half year later. In between, I tried 2 3 regulator rectifier, didn't work any of them. I finally ordered my Mosfet one, and we can do it in my garage and also relocating it. After you soldered all of the cables, you can begin to remove the battery holder. Behind the battery, there are 3 screws which you have to remove, and the fourth screws is above the battery holder behind the coolant hose, and the fifth one is actually left side next to the battery holder. You have to remove all 5. There is a small rubber band which you have to detach, and after that, on the left side on the battery holder, there is a 30 amp fuse box. You can detach it with a flathead screwdriver. Those red cables are upgrade cables. You might not have them, but with them you can start your bike easier than before. Anyway, those 2 cables are attached to the starter solenoid. This solenoid has a rubber band, so you can just slide it off and you're good to go for the next step. The next one is the ground cable for the ECU. Just unscrew it, don't forget about it, and put the screw back. In this way you cannot lose it. Next to the battery holder on the right side, there are 2 relays. One is for the fans and another one is for the injectors. Behind them is another screw. Unscrew it, put the screw back, and then we are almost finished. The last part is there is a heat shield behind the old regulator, which has 3 screws. It doesn't necessary to put all 3 out. It's required only 2, and after that you can easily remove the battery holder. So we can go back a little bit with the time, and with your new pins, what you already soldered, and new connectors on the side, and also you have to have your your old connectors on the side. You can install the new connectors, and like I said before, if you did my way, then you can easily just compare the old connector with the new connector, and also which is the female, which is the male, and yeah, and you can put the cables in it. You cannot make a mistake with the male and female connector, because the female connector is a little bit bigger, and also it has also a little bit bigger holes because the pins are also bigger. So yeah, you cannot made a mistake with this. And right now it's a little bit boring part maybe. Switching the connectors and so on, you can also watch a video if you want on YouTube, but actually what you need is only just a screwdriver, just a flathead screwdriver, a smaller one, a little smaller one, and then you can get them out, get the new one in, maybe just some VD40, and you are good to go. So you have to install the new connector on the alternator side, also on the bike side, and if you ordered a Triumph cable with the Mosfet regulator, then on the Triumph cable you have to change also the connectors. Maybe not I don't know which one you have, but maybe. Why am I saying maybe? Because what you ordered from the web shop or what you just bought from the car shop, the new connectors, um, you have from them three set or four set maybe, but these connectors maybe not the same what comes with the Triumph cable, and that's why you have to have both of them identical, and that's why maybe you have to switch them. And if you did, just put them together just for the try. I mean the Triumph cable, attach it on the alternator side and also on the bike side. From this one, I didn't have a footage either, unfortunately, but what you have to do right now is get your 3 meter cable, what you just bought from your parts store or what you just ordered from the eBay, and cut 3 pieces of 30 centimeter and 4 pieces of 30 centimeter. In this way you have 7 cables, and on the cables you have to install the new pins. On one side a male pin and on another side a female pin. If you're done with them, after that you have to install the new wire connectors like the same way what you just did on the motorcycle. But for the first, that's why you had to change the new wire connectors on the Triumph cable set, because right now you can just attach an empty wire connector on the Triumph cable set and put the cable in it with the new pin. And as you just did that, follow the cable, and on the other side put the other connector on them. So yeah, like I said, female male pin and also female and male connector. So on the other side you have to install the male or the female, either one of these, and you have to make sure you don't switch them and it's in the right position, because you can just mess the whole bike and you can just mess the whole regulator if you have them in the wrong position. This will be the space for your both cable set. It's actually above the coolant reservoir. Then you can start the assembly process. Get your 2 cable set, the long range cable set, and for the ECU, the 4 cable set, just put it through the bike. Under this coolant hose, but above the coolant reservoir, and just leave it there to hang in. Get your 2nd cable set for the alternator and put it also through, and you can also this time connect your wire connector with the alternator cables. In this way you can also improve some of the major problems with these bikes. What I mean, if you want you can also read a forum about this, but these models can leak some oil through the alternator cables. What it's mean, it's only maybe 5 drops per 1,000 kilometers, which is nothing, but it can also fry your wire connector on the alternator side. And as you just saw at the beginning of the video, that's what happened also to me. That's why we had to change the wire connector and install and soldering new pins also on them. And in this way the cables will facing upside and probably won't leaking anymore. Go to the right side on the bike, get your 2 cables and get your Mosfet regulator with the Triumph cable set and attach them together and just leave it there to hang in. and then reversing the die assembly process with the battery holder. First, fix your starter cable on the back side of the battery holder, slide your solenoid back, fix in place your 30 amp fuse on the left side, and screw down your two relays on the right side, and screw your negative cable back to the ECU. With the battery holder, before you start screw everything down, you have to play with it a little bit, because you have to make sure that you have enough space for everything, for the cables, for the new cables. And yeah, that's an Italian bike, so yeah, like I said, it's a little bit messy around the battery holder, so make sure and double check this place, and after that you can start screw down everything with the battery holder. Connect your small rubber band back above the ECU, connect the two cable set for the ECU, and as you can see, my ECU cable set for the regulator, what we just did, it's on the right side of the battery cover. I think it's also the option for you, the only one. Put everything back together, also the battery, and I think we can start our engine. Switch 1 upwards with your racing button on the left side, the steering column, and in this way you can see the battery voltage. Mine was 14.2, 14.4, and in between all the time. Don't worry, this is just a weird sound what makes this machine next to my bike. Switch on also your blinker and also your high beam. In this way you can give a little bit of load for your alternator, and yeah, if everything is fine, then you can shut off the bike. After you shut the bike off, remove 3 screws from the horizontal cylinder belt cover, and then get your new bracket, like I just told you at the beginning of the video, where you can buy one of these or create one with laser cutting. But if you have really no idea, then maybe I can help you with the laser cutting. You can just email me and maybe I can help you with the laser cutting, like I said. So get your bracket and get your 3 new screws. The screws has to be at least 5 centimeter long. Better to be 6 centimeter long if you have one. And just put the bracket on the bike without the bushing, just a 3 screw and the bracket. In this way you can see if the bracket in the right size or not, and also you can see if the holes are in the right place. If not, then you have to recreate your bracket. For the last steps, you will need your bracket, 3 new screws, like I said, at least 5 centimeter long, 3 washers for the screws, 3 bushings, and another 2 screw for the regulator to fix it on the bracket, and for these 2 screw also 2 nuts. First, fix your bracket on your back side of the regulator. use your two screws and two nuts. After that, get your three bushings, three washers and three screws for the horizontal belt cover, and insert your bushing, insert your washer, and just hand tighten all three screws what you have. In this way, you can see if everything is in the correct position. If you are done with this, then just tighten down your regulator to the bracket. You can fix your back nut, and with the wrench you can tie it down at the front. After this movement, get out one of the three screws, but carefully the bushing and the washer has to be stay there, and use some thread locker. I use a Loctite green one. This is overall a good one for the whole bike, I think so. So use a thread locker and then put your screw back in it, and also just hand tighten maybe just a little bit with your wrench, and do the same process for the second one and for the third screw. After that, if you are done with this, then tight everything down, fix everything down, and yeah, connect your cable harness if you didn't do yet. And actually, we are done with this installation. Maybe you can start up the bike to check is everything okay again after the bracket installation, and you can put everything back together, the fairings. If you have any question or if you had any problem about the installation, and if I can help you in a way, then let me know in the comment section below and we can discuss it there. If I forgot something in the video, then also let me know in the comment section below. So thank you, and hopefully, like I said, it was helpful for you. I hope so, because Ducatis from this era need to have this Mosfet regulator just for the long term.